So, for my podcast, I decided to talk a little bit about the concussion crisis and its relation to football. I chose to bring in my brother, Joe Koeltzow, a current high school football player who's had his share of heartache with concussions. He's a senior at Valley Christian High School down in Highlands Ranch, a school with a very, very dominant football program, and he'll be graduating in a couple weeks. So, Joe, tell me about your football experience.
Well, I've been playing football since second grade. Played flag football first, because my mom was worried about me getting hit, and after that year of flag football, I decided I wanted to play contact football. Because of when my birthday is in July, I had to play up a year. So when I was in second grade, I would play with third grade teams, and third grade with fourth grade teams, and so on. So it was always a challenge, playing up a grade level. But I made it work. I started on all these teams as center on the offensive line. And Little League, I thought it was rough, getting hit. Thought I got hit hard. Had a few injuries, a few ankle injuries and that kind of stuff, and nothing too serious. No concussions from football, in that time.
Yet.
Until high school. So from second to eighth grade, played football. My football team in eighth grade won the Carnation Bowl. We went undefeated. And I decided I was definitely going to continue playing football through high school. So before summer of my freshman year, came out and started practicing with the Valor freshman team, and that's where I made a lot of my friends that I still have today. All these guys, and I thought about this season, of the 50 people that were playing freshman year, only 17 of them were still playing senior year.
So how did the level change from your eighth grade football to high school freshman and then varsity?
So eighth grade to freshman ball was a bit different. They were good about easing us into the higher level of playing football. But it was noticeably different. Noticeably tougher. A lot more weightlifting, so we would all get stronger and hit harder. Instead of, which I liked this, instead of the, team, like a lot of team Oklahoma drills and stuff like that, it was really segmented to position groups. So, throughout the whole practice, we would stay with our offensive line or defensive line. We would still do tackling drills and that kind of stuff, but not as much. We just were really focused on our position groups. In that season, the freshmen, whichever freshman wanted to, got to move up and practice with varsity and suit up for varsity football games in the playoffs. And that's when I got my first concussion from football. I've had other ones from skiing, but they had us freshmen going on the scout team. Go up against the starting defense. So remember, it was Stanley Gilbert who gave me my concussion, and I was kind of stupid about it because instead of telling the coaches my head hurt, I just waited through the rest of the practice because I didn't want to seem like a wimp. So I sucked it up and kept practicing, so that probably made it worse. So after that season, I decided, because that was a pretty bad concussion that I got, and so after that season I decided I was going to take a break from football. I thought it would be indefinite, but my senior year, our offensive line coach came up to me. Actually, my junior year, at the beginning of the junior year, he said, "Joe, you can, come back and be on the team right now if you wanted to." I mean, it was tempting to do it right then during my junior year, but I decided not to because I would go in and 3 weeks into the season and wouldn't have any prior practice with the varsity group. So my senior year, I came back and played football. We started practicing in February of that year, and I just jumped right on in and loved it right away again. Went through spring and summer practices, which they sucked, but it was. I mean, I would do it again in a heartbeat. I mean, just the experience of it with the team and learning the sport. And then about 3 weeks into the regular season, I injured my neck, and that ended my football career.
Okay. So what do you think about the concussion crisis in football in general?
I think it's a big deal. It's a big issue. I mean, people's lives are at risk, and their mental health, which a lot of people don't really recognize, but it's a big deal. People aren't the same after multiple. I mean, 5 or 6 concussions. That just messes with people really bad.
So what do you think the league should or can do about it?
I don't know if they can do much more about it. I mean, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
I mean, concussions are inevitable. I mean, helmet technology isn't gonna. It helped. It has helped, but it's at the point now where just any impact. If you have foam on your head, any impact is gonna like that at that level in the NFL could give someone a concussion.
What do you think about changing the rules of the game?
I don't think they should. I think these NFL players know what they're getting into, and they're smart enough to. A lot of them are smart enough to understand. I mean, they'll stop playing if they feel like it's necessary. I mean,
Marshawn Lynch did that.
Marshawn Lynch did that. There was a rookie either this year or the year before who played 1 year in the league and stopped playing. Went back to college because he, was fearful about concussions and head injuries. So yeah, it's an issue, but I think the NFL is doing the best that they can. With the situation.
Yeah.
There's not a lot more they can do.
How do your coaches and trainers treat concussions?
No, at Valor, anyways, I don't know how it is at other schools. Probably very similar, but at Valor, they're extremely cautious about head injuries. Coaches, if someone gets their bell rung super hard and it's noticeable that they're out of it for a little bit, the coaches will make sure, they'll just test them right on the field, quick test, and if they think it's necessary, they'll send them to, the trainer. We'll give them the impact test to, see if they have concussion, and, so the trainer can really decide that. But they don't mess around. If someone is showing any sign of a concussion, they don't keep them on the field. They send them to the trainer.
Do you think that's changed, because of all the recent CTE scandals and stuff, or
Absolutely.
With high school, with younger?
Yeah, because I'm sure. Before, if you get your bell rung, you coaches would just say, "Suck it up, get back in there." Mm-hmm. And now they want to, because it's your life. It could ruin your life.
Why do you think that trainers and the NFL coaches don't have that train of thought or that perspective, really? And their logic is suck it up and get back in there. Or it was up until recently. Because
it's their job. It's the players. It's their career. That's what they do for a living. They're getting paid to play football.
Yeah.
So there's not, and they're older. We're still in high school, and our coaches anyways, understand we still have our whole lives ahead of us, because they know, not barely any of us are going to go to the NFL, or, most people don't even go play football in college. So yeah, it's really because it's it's the player's career, and it's the, I mean, it's the coach's job, player's job. And they're older.
So it's mostly about money.
Yeah, I'd say
basically. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
You're awesome.